Hello, everyone. You're listening to Alternative Revelations with Linda Emanuel. This is podcast number 140. I'm going to do the Southhaven, Mississippi area, the Memphis, Tennessee area, and the Jackson, Tennessee area. And if this resonates with you, so be it. If not, just disregard it. I just did a really important podcast, number 139. I hope you get a chance to listen to it. It will explain to you exactly the strategy of what's going to be coming down in October, step by step, and you'll be able to understand everything, what they're doing and why and how and what. So I really urge you to listen to podcast number 139, Revelations called The Agenda. You'll be enlightened, and there's no reason to be fearful. If you have the information, you have the knowledge, don't be afraid. You'll know what to do. You listen to this 139, the fear will leave you. You'll be able to know what to do, where to go, and everything. So there's no fear mongering here. I'm just trying to help people understand what's going on and what to do, where to go to be safe, and have a plan. So I'm going to start with Southhaven, Mississippi. Southhaven is right on the border of Tennessee and Mississippi, the southern border of Memphis. And Southhaven's pretty straightforward. Creator, or I'm going to just call it Spirit. Spirit is telling me there's really no safe zone anymore. Things are changing. I don't know if it's Creator doing this or what. There is absolutely no safe zone tucked away in this kill zone. You have to get out of the boundaries at least maybe 2-3 miles at least, because you have to listen to podcast 139. You have to. When you hear that, you will know exactly what I am talking about, because I don't want to really go into detail about this, but you need to listen to 139 so you will understand. So Southhaven is just a wonderful little community. If you remember from 139, I went down to Southhaven to meet Dr. Taylor because I got so traumatized by New York that I got sick. I got a mycoplasma infection from it. I was so traumatized. I was beside myself. I just can't handle people suffering, and I knew these people were suffering, dying from the 5G, or, the frequency that makes the electrons spin on the oxygen. And these poor people, and so I've just got to learn to understand, or to realize that there's no such thing as death. But all of us fear it. We may fear how we die. But okay, getting back to the subject. I'm sorry I got off. This is a very, very trying time for me because it's just so serious. I'm usually a person that likes to laugh, tell jokes, have a good time. I'm not a drinker, smoker, gambler. I just kind of like to laugh and, but this is really sobering me up. So Southhaven, the entire city of Southhaven, little bedroom community, mostly of subdivisions, nice little houses, they're all going to be hot. Now I'm going to give you the boundaries. This is in Mississippi, okay? So if you're living in this area, if you're going to go west, if you're going to escape to the west, you got to go at least 3, 4, 6 miles. You got to cross that river. I think it's what river is that? Is that the Mississippi River right there? Yes, it is. You want to get on the other side of the Mississippi River. You got to get away from this kill zone. If you listen to 139, you'll understand. So all these towns along Highway 61 west of Southhaven, they're going to be hot. And the corner of my grid is the southwestmost corner of the grid for Southhaven is a place called Tunica Resorts. And I'd say about maybe 10 miles down is Hollywood, and Hollywood's safe. So remember, this grid, you have to be not 1 mile, not 2 miles. You want to at least place 6 miles away from this kill zone. And draw a straight line across from Tunica Resorts going east. That's all hot in there from that line up. Hernando, very hot. Hernando is hot. You have to be, I would give yourself at least 6 miles from Hernando. I'm not kidding you. And that town, Alfaba, I don't know if I pronounce it right, that's safe. And then Lewisburg above there, that's hot. And let me read you these towns, okay? Of course, I just already said Hernando was hot. East of Pleasant Hill Road is hot, but allow yourself, get east of Highway 78, because that town called, I don't know if I'll pronounce it right. Why do they name these towns this? Byhalia? Byhalia is hot, very hot. So that's probably one of the corners, okay? So try to get at least 6 miles away from Victoria, all those towns right there. Tasca is safe, so you're going up. Handy Corner, I'm told, is safe, but Olive Branch isn't, and you have, like I said, you'd have to be 6 miles away from Olive Branch going east. You can't take chances. So it's hot. That highway 269 wrapping up, that's kind of a boundary. So you really should consider Handy Corner hot, because it could change by October. You've got to get out of that perimeter of those highways. Highway 22. You got to get east of that. You got to get at least 6 miles south of Hernando. You got to cross that river, that Mississippi River, which is to the west of Southhaven. This is just for safety. Listen again. I sound like a broken record. Listen to podcast 139. It'll blow you away. When I was receiving this message, I was almost on the floor. And I'm going to be doing a podcast Friday, or a show on the internet with Michael Deacon, Decon, and he's got a YouTube channel. I'm going to be divulging a lot of stuff that I can't put on this podcast. A lot of things that will amaze you. Not amaze you, but kind of stun you, So, and I'm also going to reveal some things that I haven't revealed before in these podcasts. I'm allowed to reveal them, okay? Creator is letting me reveal them. So you might want to listen to Michael Deacon's show. I'm also going to do a show with a woman by the name of Nish, Niish, and she wants me to be on her show Monday. They want this information out because it resonates with them. I think what helped convince them was the grid that I have people pull up, And this is no joking matter for me. This is it's caused me to have a meltdown a couple weeks ago. I was under such stress. Okay, now we're going to move up to Memphis, and I'm going to stop garbling here because it's I just don't, Okay, Memphis is all hot. The city of Memphis is hot all the way down to Southhaven. That's all hot in there. Germantown's hot. You got to go at least 6 miles east of 269. You got to get out of this area. You can't chance it. You can't get stuck in this area. Let me turn the page here and find Memphis, because I did do a grid. I always do a grid on paper, and write all the towns down. And let's see where this highway is that you're talking here. You just want to get out of that. You just want to get out of that populated area of Memphis. Brunswick. Let me get off the podcast and stop it, and I'm going to see if Brunswick and all that is where the boundary is north. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, Spirit is telling me that there's a highway on the north of Memphis. It's called 385. It kind of runs into a highway called 269. Now use that as your perimeter, and all the way to the river, except that park in there. Don't trust getting into a park like that. You want to cross that river. You want to get out of the Memphis area, because if you listen to 139, you can't be anywhere near these hot zones. You got to be out of this hot zone. So okay, so there's a town to the north called Millington. let's see if that's hot. I don't remember. Is Millington? Yeah, Millington is hot. Creator's telling me. Okay, Brunswick is hot. All that in there, all that south of that highway, 385 is hot. Arlington is hot. Galloway is hot. Hickory with, though, is safe. So that looks at least 6 miles from the highway. So let me make sure it's safe. Hickory with, Withe. That's safe right now. That's right now. But if you're in Hickory and you start coming down with these symptoms, you got to go east. Okay, what I'm looking at, Oakland. Oakland is safe. So Oakland's about, I don't know, looks like 20 miles from Highway 269, the boundary. Let's move down here and see if Macon is safe. Macon is actually safe, Creator's telling me. So that takes care of Memphis. A rule of thumb, get out of the city limits. It's all going to be hot, and it's going to be a kill zone. And after day 10, you're gonna die by day 14. So this is really serious here. There's no safe areas in this grid. You used to find all the safe little towns. You know, if there's like, I'm gonna give you a heads up, St. Louis. How I say this? The Jesuits, they're deceptive. They're very deceptive. In my town, the rich people live in Frontenac and Ladue, and that the 5G isn't going to be turned on there. But those towns aren't going to be big enough to hold back the 60 gigahertz. They are going to be they're being thrown under the bus. I'm telling you the truth. That's what Creator says. In these little pockets that I've been telling people about, you know, like this town doesn't have the 5G. Those are all deceptive, probably. This is Linda talking, okay? They're deceptive. If you know how these Jesuits are, they're totally deceptive. They think they're on your side, and they'll just kill you, just because they can, just because they're evil. Okay, now I just got wind earlier that Jackson, Tennessee is hot. And that was like, oh my gosh, what the heck? And I don't even try now. I don't even try anymore to find out the reason. There's too many cities I got to do. Rule of thumb, at the end of this podcast, I will go over the cities that I have that are going to be hot. And you just got to get out of these boundaries. And I think what I'm going to do is Dallas-Fort Worth is really in a predicament. They've got a big grid. The rule of thumb, a lot of these towns are standalones, and you got to be at least 3 to 6 miles out of these boundaries because of what they're going to be doing. They're doing an overkill, okay? So the whole state of Atlanta is not Atlanta, Georgia. The whole state of Georgia is going to be under attack. And it's brutal. Okay, I'm going to go to Jackson. I've been in shock since yesterday, since I learned about this. You know what the strategy behind this, and what happens is you got to listen. You listen to Michael Deacon Friday. I'm going to reveal some stuff that you might be interested in hearing. It's going to be very interesting. So Jackson, Tennessee. Let me find it here. We did the grid. I did the grid with Creator. Jackson. Here we go. There's a lot of hot cities around Jackson. Of course, Jackson, the entire city of Jackson, is going to be hot. Not a real big town. I don't know why they're targeting it. I don't have time to find out. And I almost forgot to remind you, I'm going to put the grids in the description of the podcast so you can follow me along. And you know, Jackson, I don't know. I didn't look up any demographics on Jackson. It's east of Memphis. It's a pretty good-sized little town. It looks like a small town. It's got a pretty big grid, you know. I'm going to give you the corners. Got them right here. You know, there's a highway to the west of Jackson. There's a highway that kind of runs southwest, you know, at an angle. And that whole highway, that seems to be the boundary, okay? But all these towns on this highway, they're hot, okay? Now, to to the north of Jackson, I don't know how many miles, right above Humboldt, is a town called Gibson. That's hot. But about 6 miles up, which is a safe area between Gibson and there's a town called Milan, Milan, and please forgive me if I pronounced it wrong. Milan is safe. So if you live in Gibson, you just go 6 miles up the road to Milan, because Spirit's telling me that Milan is going to be safe. So going down that Highway 79, Humboldt's hot. These are all hot on this highway, and you go down to Brownsville, and that's hot. Looks like, let's see, make sure. Yeah, Brownsville is on that highway. I'm sorry. So Brownsville, it looks like it's hot. And my corner, let's look for this corner here. I'm not familiar with these towns, you know. It's a pretty big grid. Okay, it seems like Brownsville on Highway 79. That's as far as the 5G goes down along 79, it stops there. So if you can get at least 6-7 miles from Brownsville, you probably are going to be safe. But you always got to look for symptoms. You know, if you still have trouble breathing after you've been in where you think it's safe, you might have to go further out. So one of the corners of this grid is a town called Hillville. It's kind of let's see, it's going southeast of Brownsville. That's going to be hot. It's a pretty good distance from Brownsville too. So go down to, hold on here. I'm looking at these towns. Okay. White Fern. Where the heck's White Fern? White Fern is hot. Beach Bluff is hot. These are towns down here. Jacks Creek is hot. Finger is hot. I remember seeing that one. And Silerton is hot. Those are running along highway, it looks like Highway 100. So you can draw that line across, well, those towns are further south. It's a very confusing map. So the rule of thumb is some of these towns, they're hot and some are safe. Like that town called Tune. Let's see if it's safe. Tune is safe. So draw a straight line across Hillville all the way over. Meaden's safe. No, Meaden is not safe. Meaden's straight across from Hillville. Danburg. Deanburg is not safe. Let's keep going across here. Silerton is, let's see. Silerton is hot. It's not safe. Finger right across from Silerton is hot. Henderson, hot. Gosh, this is just a big grid for such a small town. Like I said, right above Henderson is Beach Bluff, which is hot. It's to the east of Jackson. Jacks Creek, right to the east of Henderson, is hot. Finger right below is hot. But let's see, that town Bethel Springs is safe, along with, can't even read my own handwriting. Not very good here. You know, south of rule of thumb, go 6 miles down from Silerton. Go south, go below Highway 225 and 64. Get out of that area. It's more rural there too, you know. So moving up, Beach Bluff was hot. White Farm was hot. It's right to the east of Jackson. It's unbelievable. This little town, it's such a big grid. Oh my. Lavinia is hot. Cedar Grove is hot. This is awful. Awful. But you know, the very top there, where the Milan on 79, that's safe. Gibson seems to be the most northern, but don't trust these towns. You got to be at least 6 miles from these grids. These are all standalone towns. Use good judgment. You know, don't get trapped into a city. And you start feeling those shortness of breath, can't breathe, tiredness, dizziness, can't think straight. You need to get out of that area as soon as you can. Jackson, I'm sorry about Jackson. It's just a really big grid. It's a lot of little standalone towns. Just use common sense, look for symptoms. This whole area is hot, except for Milan, which is way north, and it's a big area. Big area. Really not nice. Henderson, oh boy. Jacks Creek hot, Finger hot, all the way down to Finger. Boy, that's waste. I'm gonna get off right now. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna see how many miles Finger is from Jackson. That's how long this grid is. Hold on, I'm gonna be right back. So while I got off, I went to Google and I asked Google, how many miles is it down Highway 45 from Jackson to Finger? And it was 20 something miles. So that's how long this grid is. But these are all standalone towns. Except you get closer to Jackson, it's going to be more condensed there. But these are, like I said, Jacks Creek, Henderson, Finger. These are all standalone. So Silerton, these are all, between the towns. If there's more than 6 miles, you might be safe. I can't tell you what to do or give you advice, but you got to use common sense here. When you start feeling the symptoms, you've got to get out of that area. You got to go. I know there's another big town around here to the east. Oh yeah, there's Lexington. Yeah, Lexington's going to be hot. It's just to the east of Jackson. So this is just unbelievable. Nashville's safe. Nashville's not under attack that I know of. That Spirit is telling me. That's Nashville. Let me make sure, okay? As of the present moment, Nashville, if you can make it to Nashville out of Jackson, Memphis, and Southhaven, Nashville's your bet. Nashville's okay right now. And if things change, keep up on my podcast. If things change, get out of that area. Because this is changing day to day. I'm not saying one town's getting taken on and one town's getting taken off, but they're adding towns, and Creator doesn't know, Spirit doesn't know yet, because they haven't revealed them even to themselves. So they're still plotting this out. They have 2 months to go to deploy the 5G, and they mean business, So listen to podcast 139, and just a rule of thumb, Jackson's going to be under attack. It's a pretty good grid, pretty good sized grid. You can also go down to the state of, what's below that? I should know Mississippi's below it. As of right now, I don't have any towns in Alabama, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So you could head for Alabama if it's safe, or stay out of Georgia. Georgia, almost the whole state is under attack. That one. Head for Nashville. That's safe right now. Knoxville, Tennessee is safe so far. These Chattanooga. It's kind of far from Memphis, but you got to get out of Memphis. You got to get out of Southhaven. You got to get Southhaven, Mississippi, and you got to get out of Jackson, Tennessee. It's hot zone, kill zone actually. So I hope this was helpful. I apologize for kind of rambling on. There's so many towns, and I have to check which ones are hot and which are not, and then I always have to make sure, because sometimes Creator, I ask if it's safe, and it's safe right now. I have to always make sure that I'm asking for October, because the town could convert between now and October. So things are changing, and knowledge is the answer. Know how to protect yourself. Know where to go to be safe. Have a plan. Please have a plan where you can go to be safe. Check friends and relatives if they're in a safe city. And, maybe some people might not believe you, but remember day 10 is going to be the big, it's going to be the deciding factor of, you'll know what's happening. And on day 10, you have to get out of these kill zones. You have to. You can't stay to day 14. You won't be able to get out. You'll be dead. So I hope this podcast was helpful. Please have a plan and stay safe. Get your children to safety. If you're pregnant with a baby, get that baby to safety, Get your pets to safety. This 5G is going to kill worms in the ground. It's going to kill the fish in the lakes. It's going to kill bees. It's going to kill rabbits. It's going to kill deer. It's going to kill horses. It's not going to have any mercy. Anything that breathes air, they're not going to live. It's going to be a big kill zone in these areas, and you just got to get out. And just listen to podcast 139. I sound like a broken record, and I'm sorry. And one last thought. Right after this podcast, I will do an updated list on the hot cities in each state. So be aware, prepare, and be safe. And bless your heart, for listening to this podcast, putting up with this podcast. This has not been easy this last 2 days when I learned about the strategy behind all this, and it's been really difficult today and yesterday to I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. This is worse than a movie script. It's a movie script. At least it's fiction. This is reality. So be aware, prepare, and be safe again. And God bless you. And until next time, good night and God bless.